Hello and welcome into our coverage as it continues here on day 2 of Regional Wrestling. Brandon Bird here with you. Joining me up in the booth for this recap show is Christian Hackmeister. And what an afternoon it was. We saw some Tigers qualify for state. We will see that. We'll show you a little recap. Christian, you're with us. Obviously, you weren't able to wrestle still due to the hard slam you took just a few weeks ago, but you were out here. I saw you cheering up your teammates.
Absolutely.
Still having fun out here.
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it for the world. It's so much fun to be here, especially with the pressure this high, and when you see your boys go, make it to state, it's a treat. There's some really good matches today.
Hopefully you've been following along on social media. You can find us on Twitter at Erie Tiger Net or like the Erie Tiger Network Facebook page. Let's go ahead and take a look. We started in the Consolation quarterfinals. It was just a fun afternoon all the way around. We saw some guys lose early, but we also got to see some people qualify for state. So we'll jump straight into that. And we started off in the Consolation quarterfinals with Karsten Odom as he took on Trent Supus. And this was one of those, Christian, that didn't quite go the Tigers' way. Karsten fought really hard. This was a long, grinding match. As you can see there, that's part of what they were doing, just kind of grinding it out throughout the entirety of the match. That was the 2-point takedown for Supus that would ultimately give him the win. He got the 1-point escape as Odom started in the up position in the second. And from there on, we only saw Odom get the 1-point escape to make it 3-1. This is the kind of the last-ditch effort and a little try there by Karsten. But a good wrestler, young, just didn't have it today in this match.
That is, you know what, that's absolutely okay, because Karsten is not only he's a phenomenal wrestler, and he's one of the hardest working kids in the room by far. There's so many good things I could say about Karsten, but he is definitely one of those wrestlers that likes to grind it out on the mat. He can do explosive moves, but he prefers grinding up in neutral, and he's just a fantastic wrestler in that position. I think looking forward for Karsten, I think, because he's only a sophomore this year, I think moving forward for him, I think it'd be really good for him to learn how to ride on top better, because I think if he was a top wrestler, he would dominate.
So you saw Karsten Odom lose there 1-3. Then we saw Branson Roylance take the mat. Here's Branson shaking hands against his opponent, Eddie Ramirez out of Greeley West. He was the 7 seed, 10-10 going in. And another long kind of grinding match. Branson tried to get the upper hand early, and he got rolled out from underneath for the 2-point takedown. Same situation kind of happened later. Another 2-point takedown there for Ramirez. Branson, it felt like he never really got it going. There was a little portion in this match, you'll see it in the next clip, as he got the 1-point escape right there. This is where it felt like he might start taking control, and then there was, late at the end of the period, I believe there was an escape right at the end of the second, and no, they called, that's what it was. It was the full Nelson.
Yeah.
And so that cost a point for Branson. He would end up falling 3-6 as we watch the remaining little highlights of his match. But Branson, a senior, he'll leave this program as a proud Erie Tiger. Branson above 500 in his senior year.
Absolutely. And Branson is one of those guys, if you've ever seen him before, he looks like he's so strong. He's incredibly strong, and he has such a drive behind him that he's incredible, and it's so hard to stop him.
They gave actually 2 late points there to Branson. You saw the 6-1 score. Then we saw Witt. Witt felt like he shouldn't be here in the quarterfinals. So he took on Blake Roble. A little upset loss early for Witt, but Witt came out with as a man on a mission here this afternoon.
Yes.
Witt, another interesting match into the second period. Almost got taken down there, was able to get on top for the 2-point takedown.
It's the 2-point takedown. Yeah.
Early in that match, and then he was dominant throughout the rest of that match against Blake Roble. He would end up winning by pin, which you'll see here in a second at 2:18, and Witt he came to wrestle today.
Witt is not messing around, and he, as a senior, he's probably, out of all of us seniors, he's the best. And he is the best leader, and he knows what he's doing. Just by watching him, you can tell, he turns the guy, and he gets him, he sits on top of him, he gets the pin. It's easy for him. It's not easy, but he works like he knows what he's doing, and he's technically very knowledgeable about wrestling, and he's very strong. And I've experienced that firsthand. He's a very, very strong guy, and as we'll see later, he dominated.
And there was the pin. That one came, of course, at 218. Then we saw Dominic Barella. He took the mat against T.R. Kendeval out of Frederick, and Barella early in this one looked like he might be the wrestler that came to play. Unfortunately, Kendeval had a good move. He would end up pinning Barella at 149 in the match. But this one went to the second period. You could see Barella there. Just got caught underneath. A good throw there by Kendeval.
Yeah.
And Barella, after that, it was tough sledding.
It was a difficult match to watch, especially because, like, Dom he works his butt off, and he's a strong kid. But he's not as technically knowledgeable, I think, about wrestling. And so he got caught in that move. He got flipped, and at that point, we all knew it was just like, oh, dang it.
So then we went to the last Erie wrestler of the quarterfinal round. That was Alonzo Warner. He took on Israel Campa of Northridge, a 10-15, ninth seeded wrestler. And this one had some nervy moments, kind of back and forth. Alonzo was down here early. You saw him kind of struggling underneath there. Campa, he had the legs wrapped up, and Campa came back, got the 2-point takedown, back and forth. This was maybe one of the more exciting matches.
A great match. I remember talking to Alonzo before this match. I was like, Alonzo, you need to win this match, because if you don't win this match, you're done. And he listened, and he showed up. He knew what he was doing, and what an intense match. There were several times in this match where I was like, oh no, Alonzo's done. But Alonzo kept pushing, he kept fighting. He got on top of him, and he got it.
Yeah, you saw the takedown there. Then they moved it to the center of the mat. Alonzo, it just felt like he started getting stronger and stronger as the match went on. You'll see one final little crossface right there. The reversal from Campa, that's when you were like, uh-oh.
I was like, oh no. Yeah. But Alonzo, the thing about Alonzo is his confidence. As soon as he knows he can win a match, he wins that match. And it's as soon as he believes that in himself, he wins. And they're just like that.
There's the reversal right back, and this is where Alonzo would start taking over for the rest of the match. Went in half Nelson with the left side, got the tilt over. Alonzo, he could smell the blood in the water. And there it was, the pin for Alonzo Warner at 2:34. What an exciting quarterfinals as you're looking live here in the gym. And now let's take a look at the semifinals. So that was the quarters. So ultimately in the consolation round quarterfinals, you had Karsten Odom eliminated, Branson Roylance eliminated, Dominic Barella eliminated, but you still had 4 Tigers remaining. Not including Rudy, who we will see in the finals later.
Still topside.
Gus Fonseca Walker, he would come up in this round. We would also see Whit Unruh again and Alonzo Warner, those 3. And this was maybe the best round the Tigers have had.
Oh, my goodness. I was blown away by each and every match. Gus's match, I saw a little bit of it. I wasn't there for the entire thing, but I remember Gus is just a dominant wrestler.
Speaking of Gus, there he was in the semifinals versus Mason Vigil of Mountain View, a 21-16 8 seed, a very good bracket as they shook hands. So a couple little double replays trying to get this going as fast as we could. But Gus, kind of a slow, grinding match, but didn't give up a single point.
Oh, yeah, no, Gus is one of those guys that's like he doesn't show up to let the other guy, score on him. He wins. He dominates, especially if he's on top. Like, you're just not getting out on bottom. He has that ability to stay on top so well that it is, just when you're watching somebody try and get out, you can tell how tired they're getting, how demoralizing it is for the opponent. And then there's Mr. Carpenter down there.
He was talking. We were messing around with the camera. There was a long blood timeout in that match.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I thought, well, maybe that could give V-Hill a chance to catch his breath. You already saw the escape from Gus, but he didn't relent at all. Didn't matter. There were a couple different blood timeouts. Gus got the escape, ended up getting some more takedown points. Ultimately, in this one, Gus wins it by a final of 5-0. He's moving on to the Consolation Finals, and he is the second Erie State qualifier up to that point because no wrestle back for him. He's beaten both opponents in the bracket. Then we moved on to Witt again at 160.
My favorite match, I think.
This was the most intense match of the day. Wrestler started out, Witt kind of started off slow, tried to get the takedown there, fell on his back, and it ended up being a 2-point takedown for his opponent, Isaac Hesse, out of Skyline.
It was only 2 points, thank goodness, because Witt was on his back there for a second, and we were all down on the sidelines. We were all so nervous. And Witt, he was on bottom the whole time. He's trying to get out, and this guy was leg riding him really well, but he was super high, so Witt was trying to shake him off. He was trying to run that half, and he almost got it a few times. But Witt, he really exploded towards the end of the match, as we'll see here soon.
By the way, it was actually Court Cunningham of Northridge, the 4 seed, 19-12 on the year. Witt got into some trouble again, but it seemed once again as the match went on, it seemed like he was getting stronger and stronger. You said the other wrestler riding high. Witt finally was able to do that, and you'll see late, there's a 2-point takedown late for Court, and then boom. Witt reverses right at the end. There's the Erie fans. They're going crazy, and Witt wins that one at a final of 5-4, and then there's Alonzo Warner. He's getting his hand shaken, and
yeah, I think there was an injury forfeit, which is, we'll take it.
We'll take it. So Alonzo Warner going to the Consolation Finals, and that means there are 3 Tigers in the Consolation Finals in Gus Fonseca Walker, Witt Unruh, and Alonzo Warner. Rudy, he's already punched his ticket to state. By the way, with that win, Witt also punched his ticket to state, becoming the 3rd Tiger to go to state today, and we are looking at the 195-pound bracket trying to figure out if Alonzo Warner is in or not. He will face... Let's take a look here. He will face the Burton kid that he has already faced out of Thompson Valley, which means Torres out of Niwot. He has not faced yet. So there is a chance that Alonzo will have to be in a wrestle back if he is not able to beat Burton, a wrestler he already got pinned by earlier in this. So if Torres wins over Hesse, which it seems like he will because it looks like he has forfeited due to an injury. So it's win and you're in for Alonzo Warner, or there'll be a wrestle back. So a potential for 1 wrestle back tonight for the Tigers. They've already got 3 in. We'll see 1 in a championship match, 2 in third-place matches. Overall, it kind of was a rough into the day yesterday for the Tigers. But a much better rebound, at least for Witt and Gus here today, and hopefully Alonzo as well.
Especially, just real quick, I want to highlight Witt's performance today. Witt has done just an absolutely phenomenal job, not only on the sidelines leading us, but at the same time on the mat. He is such a presence. He's such a force to be reckoned with, and it's, as his teammate, I'm so honored and I'm so proud that I can say that, he's been such a great wrestler today.
All right, so there you go. 3 Tigers into the state tournament. Next weekend at the Pepsi Center, there might still be 1 more. Can Alonzo Warner, the senior, punch his ticket to state? We'll find out later tonight. Christian, thank you so much for joining us. Any final thoughts as we close our coverage on the Consolation semifinals?
I'm really hoping Alonzo makes it to state. I think he's got it in him. I really do.
All right, we will find out later today. For Christian, I'm Brandon. Thanks for joining us for this little recap video. That'll do it. Follow us along for updates throughout the tournament on Twitter at Erie TigerNet, like the Erie Tiger Network Facebook page, and we'll post when we have these recap videos or we go live throughout the day. So until later today, I'll chirp at you later.